So, today I'm going to talk about the secrets of becoming seductive like Marilyn Monroe. And I'll be reviewing the Netflix series Mystery of Marilyn Monroe, the Unheard tapes. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any of my weekly videos. So let's dive right in. Now, if you're into femininity and seduction, you know one of the greatest icons of seduction is Marilyn Monroe. And I've been studying the art of seduction, and one of the things that Marilyn embodies is the siren. And this is the ultimate male fantasy. Now, of course, when I saw this series come to Netflix, I immediately just had to watch it just so that I can see what the whole story is like. Yeah? So I'll be sharing with you 10 things that I picked up that you can use in your day-to-day life to embody your own seduction and seductive personality. Now, the first thing that Marilyn did so well was she reinvented herself. And she said that it takes a smart brunette to play a dumb blonde. So she was just a simple woman. She was a very simple housewife, and all she did, she had a dream. And she completely changed her personality, changed her physique, just everything so that she could suit whatever it is that she wanted. And this is something that we as women have the right to do, especially if you've been married or you've been in a long-term relationship. As women, sometimes we get to lose ourselves in some of these day-to-day mundane, mediocre things that we do on a day-to-day basis. Now, when you reinvent yourself, you all of a sudden add more life into your personality. Change up your hair, change up your career, change up your skills, your hobbies. Just add something that's exciting to you. Because what happens when you're in the midst of change, that's when you start to radiate a very different kind of energy, which is just so magnetic. Yeah? So the second thing that Marilyn did that really played up to her seductive personality was she really knew how to tap into her childlike appeal. Now, as women, what tends to happen, and this is usually a very common conversation, where you hear that older men really like younger women. Sometimes I don't really think so. What a younger woman usually represents is she represents a more youthful personality. So a young girl is not yet burdened with lots of responsibility, baggage, and burden. She's still in her more carefree sort of spirit, and that kind of energy is what really magnetizes older men, because when you're old, you really are burdened with so much, and you just want that carefree kind of spirit, kind of energy around you to give you more life. So Marilyn played up her childlike appeal so well. You could tell that from the way she walked. She knew how to take the little steps, from the way she smiled. I mean, I really love watching her smile in her older movies. She had such a pure, innocent kind of smile. The kind of smile that just tells you, oh, I'm so happy. I'm so excited to see you in my presence. And that's just like a child. Like the way a child can get so excited to see you and immediately they lighten up your day. So that childhood personality, I think, is what really drew so many of these strong men, because they had that need to just be around her and bask in her glow. Okay, now the third thing that Marilyn exuded and that was so captivating was she exuded her feminine energy so well. In fact, one of the ladies in the movie called her out and said Marilyn was womanhood in a nutshell. And if you look at it, it was a combination of her physical and inner qualities that just made her so alluring. From her physicality, you could see how she really took time to curate her image, her style of clothing, her makeup. I was reading somewhere, I think it took her like 3 to 4 5 hours to just get her makeup done. From the way her skin looked, she always had this basking glow. And I understand that she used Vaseline as a primer just so that she can always have that glow around her. So she really took time to look after herself. And then even just her mannerisms, her speech, she never had that deep, like her voice was so smooth, and so it was basically like a small little girl. So her femininity, from the way she carried herself, from the energy she exuded, that really drew so many men to her. And then the other thing that I saw Marilyn doing so well that is so seductive, she disarmed some of these men with strategic vulnerability. Now, what do I mean by that? Marilyn truthfully had a really deep traumatic past, and she liked to, she called herself a waif. Basically, she was neglected, and she moved from, children's home to children's homes, and she really never had a very stable childhood. So that for her was a deep wounding that she had within her. And most of the men that she was with, she shared that with them. And that's why most of them wanted to really protect her. They wanted to shield her. They wanted to be that strong pillar for her to lean on. Now, many ladies really truly desire this kind of protection from a masculine man. But the thing is, many women, because we've become so independent and successful and go-getter, we find it so difficult to open up to men and be vulnerable with them, so that these men can step up and become your protector. Now, of course, even being vulnerable, there is a skill to it, because you need to be very discerning before you share out some of your past pain and your issues. But the thing is, the way Marilyn did it, she owned the fact that she had a very troubled childhood. She owned the fact that she needed that protection, that guidance, that help. And she really leaned on to whichever man she was with, she leaned onto them, and she actually welcomed that kind of support and help from the men. And that really added to her more seductive personality. It made her look human. Think about it. This was a whole beautiful goddess, and she admitted to the fact that she had this flaw, which was her troubled childhood, and she had all these weaknesses. It immediately humanized her. She started to look normal. So can you imagine if she was just this beautiful woman, and she was successful in her own right, and she just never had any challenges, only struggles, she'd no longer look human. It would be difficult to connect to her. So her vulnerability made her seductive and made her really endearing to some of these men who are willing to play protector into her life. Now, the other very seductive thing about Marilyn was that she was super ambitious. Through and through, what kept coming up in the movie was that she kept wanting to be recognized as a great actress, an amazing actress. And it was so formidable how she went about perfecting her craft, which was acting. She took it so seriously. She never wanted to just be known as this bombshell, but she really wanted her work, her skills, her craft to be recognized for what she really felt that she could offer the world, which was acting. So the way she went about creating and working on her skill effortlessly, of course she had her weaknesses, but she really was ambitious when it came to her craft. And that is so seductive when it comes to a woman. And sometimes when you hear conversations like, oh, men don't like women who are ambitious. No, they just don't like women who lead with their masculine energy. Yes, it's okay to be ambitious, to have your goals, to have your dreams, to be financially stable. That's okay. I mean, you do all those things for you. But when it comes to interacting with masculine men, you should be able to let go of that masculine armor and to lean into your softer feminine side, because that feminine energy is what is so attractive to a masculine man. And that's what will create that polarity and bring in that whole sexual energy between the two of you. And that's what makes a feminine woman so attractive to a masculine man. So she really went about her craft in a single-minded way. Okay? Now, I know, and this was a question I got into in my DM, and this babe was asking me, so Linda, do you think Marilyn should have done more inner work? I believe we all need to do our inner work. I believe doing your inner work is a lifelong process. You can never, ever, ever really say that I have done all my inner work and I am completely healed. I think by the time you're completely healed, I don't know. I don't think there's even something like that, because each and every day you're learning, you're growing, you're experiencing different experiences, you're encountering new challenges. Now, in the case of Marilyn, it's so unfortunate that possibly her deep childhood wounds really played a huge role in just her traumatic end and just how tragic everything played out for her. But that does not discount the fact that she was seeking help from a shrink. I think even towards the end, she really had even formed a very close relationship with a shrink. Now, the thing is, you cannot sit down and say, oh, so Marilyn had a tragic end, therefore she is not a woman to emulate. I always feel if a woman has done something remarkable, and in this case, I mean, so much has been written about Marilyn. She's accomplished so much. I mean, at some point, she's scaled the ladder. She's been with some of the most influential men. Even at some point, being with two very powerful brothers. How do you think she was able to do that? It's definitely something for you as a wise woman to sit down and look at her life and see what are some of the elements that she worked on really well, which have highlighted, and what are some of the areas that she has shortcomings in. So you could say that maybe she didn't really process her inner work, and that really also helped in playing up in her downfall. And you could also mention that she really didn't manage her finances well, because even as I was watching the movie, I think they only mentioned her having one house. And it was something that came up much later on that that never really occurred to her that she could own a home. So of course, everybody has their shortcomings, but it does not take away from the fact that this was a goddess. She was a bombshell. And when it comes to seduction, Marilyn had the ability to bring even the most masculine men down to their knees. Yeah? So I'd love to know what are some of the qualities that you'll try in your daily life. Let me know in the description box, and see you soon. Bye.